Sunday to everyone here in the Trader's Crib for Sunday school this miraculous Sunday, April 21st. And let's get into it. We will first start off with a little bit of mindset today. I'll do more of a motivational card pull instead of Robert Greene today. And then we'll recap over all of the crazy downward fall that we went through last week, right? And then we'll get into the charts and figure out what we are looking at for this week, and which is pretty much more downward movement. But of course, we'll get into it and prep our charts to see what we can capitalize on this week. So welcome again, everyone. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys had a great weekend overall. And to start our mindsets right today, we have abundance. And of course, that's great for trading. Abundance mindset. And the quote states, I am worthy and I deserve an abundance of anything that I require. I watch my thoughts to ensure that I am honoring and respecting myself. I honor myself by knowing that I am worthy to receive. I am open to receive now. I remind myself that it is a sign of strength to ask for help. A sign of strength to ask for help. All right, abundance. So we have an abundance mindset going into this week, and it is going to be an amazing week. All right, so that's mindset for you guys. Now, let's transition into this news and fundamentals, and let's see what this market has prepared for us upcoming this week. All right, so first and foremost, we'll look at Forex Factory. And with Forex Factory today, pull this over. All right, so with Forex Factory, tomorrow we don't have any folders whatsoever. It's a completely clear day. So we will not meet for live day trading tomorrow. On Tuesday is when the action begins. All right, so Tuesday, April 23rd, we have Flash Manufacturing PMI and Flash Services PMI. Wednesday, we don't have much going on, just some orange folders for, durable good orders, and we'll see what liquidity is remaining by Wednesday, right? That will make the market just kind of run to do last minute liquidity grabs. Then on Thursday, of course, unemployment claims and advanced GDP, to conclude with Friday with core PCE price index. All right. So all of this is, of course, data leading up to the FMOC day on May 1st. All right. And we know that most likely the Federal Reserve will not cut interest rates, right? We will not cut interest rates. So we'll see how this data comes out and how we'll set up our charts. Looking back at CNBC and Benzinga for any news headlines that you guys may want to point out this weekend. The ending headline Friday, NASDAQ falls more than 2% to post 6 straight losing day as NVIDIA craters 10%, right? NVIDIA has been dropping. And there were a lot of news articles out about, like, is this NVIDIA's end and all of that jazz. And so we're just going to keep an eye on it. Of course, we'll chart it today and look at it with some more detail. All right, the headline for this weekend, Bitcoin miners upgrade power centers and get into AI to brace for slash revenue post-halving. So we'll see how Bitcoin, this is Bitcoin mining for you guys. This is what these hardware systems look like. It really is true. So we'll see how that plays out. And then House passes Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan aid, potential TikTok ban. My husband and I were reading about TikTok ban earlier, which is not so great, as we are entrepreneurs and we love using TikTok to promote our businesses. So we're not really for this TikTok ban. We're actually constantly trying to keep TikTok around by posting and supporting all of their like little promotions and protests against getting them banned, right? Other headline news, Tesla cuts prices nearly 2,000 in China, in line with US cuts. So, of course, we know that Tesla stock is dropping quite a bit. So we'll see if it can finally bottom out with this news and eventually start to recover back to the upside. So we'll see. That's Trump. I mean, Trump. I'm using the word Trump right here, y'all. Tesla news. Sorry. Benzinga today, more on TikTok, of course, because I was looking at things earlier, but Bitcoin transaction fees dive to 5-year low. So more Bitcoin. And then, as like I said earlier, you'll see quite a bit of news on TikTok. This being a big ban right here, top senator spearheading the TikTok crackdown as House bill gains Senate momentum. Like it's a big deal all within the government and things like that when it comes to TikTok. It's more of a problem. I'll tell you why the United States cares so much about banning TikTok, because they want to keep all their precious secrets a secret, and TikTok isn't as regulated as everything else in the United States. So when TikTok puts something out about their secrets, it goes viral. And so they want to put kind of a control on that. You know, good old United States wants to keep it all to themselves. But y'all know me, my viewpoint is all will come crashing down toward the end at some point. There has to be a reset level here of power play. So we'll see how that plays out. All right. So this is upcoming for the week. Lots of good things to look at. And of course, we'll keep our eyes on the news as we continue to move throughout the week. All right. So from there, is there anything else anybody wants to add as far as news goes? Or have a discussion about news before we dip into the charts? Don't all jump on at once, but if you have something you would like to share, by all means, either raise your hand or drop it in the chat, right? And Jacinia says, when NVIDIA came out with the wanting to do their own company stuff got real for them. Yeah, I believe that. And then his Whitney at starts here. Whitney had posted on Instagram about 420 yesterday. It was a quote that was something like April, like 4/20, 2024 is the same backwards. If that doesn't make you want to smoke, I don't know what will, right? Like 4/20, 2024, 4 whatever works. So happy 420. I hope you guys joined, celebrated, and enjoyed your day. For those of you who participate in that lifestyle. So yeah, this is the only 4/20, 2024 that it's gonna be able to, the date is gonna go back and forth. So mark that down for your calendar. All right. All right. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Y'all good? Y'all great? All right, let's get into these charts. All right, so let's chart up ES. I did my first analysis, but I'll do it with you guys together here. We'll use the ES continuous today, okay? And we'll start from the weekly since we're not at the beginning of the month just yet, okay? So I'll start midweek on the weekly. And just from looking at the candlestick patterns, you guys know candlestick magic is everything. And we have a pretty confirmed evening star from the weekly. Agreed? Agreed. It is a full reversal. Remember, at first I was like, check the candles, make sure the next candle, we'll see if it comes down. All last week, we did nothing but majority of a downward pull. So there is your confirmation candle that is down to the downside for sure. Now, there's still room to play here. You're like, oh my God, it's already dropped. How much further can it go? Well, ladies, where is our order block? Where is our order block? We can square it off multiple different ways. We could take the close of the weekly fair value gap at 49.01, which is at the top of that order block, right? All right, so this is where our support will be. Make this green. This fair value gap, right? And that's that weekly fair value gap is right above this order block. So 49.36 to 49.01 is going to be the weekly fair value gap. And it's coming straight forward. I don't see why it would stop now. I don't see why it would stop now. Why is another reason why I wouldn't stop now? That I've been beating y'all since the day I saw it in here. I've been warning us for weeks that it will come back for this kid and this fair value gap on the weekly. Okay, it's now time. So we should now be shorting with conviction. Okay, or buying puts with conviction. right, ladies? Like this is easy. There's an evening star, there's a fair value gap, catch the rest of it. Done. Get out of Dodge. Done. All right. Of course, this is a weekly time frame, so we're going to have some pullback up to the upside a few days this week as it continues to come down. All right. But for my swing traders, if you're not already holding puts and still holding puts, you should be in puts. put, please. If you're going to do calls, now it's time for the short-term calls. You remember through all this, we weren't holding puts long. And through all this, we're not holding calls very long. It's very, very short. It's a scalp and then you get out, right? You're scalping calls on this side and then you're holding your day trading or your swing trading puts for this market environment for the next couple weeks, right? Once we hit the order block, right? This order block is right in line with the neckline. So I don't think we'll just bounce off the top of it. I think we could have the potential to come through it and clear it out. If we do that, that means price can fall as low as 48.07. All right. 48.07. So just keep that in mind. All right. Of course, once it hits the neckline and tests it for the first time, you're going to take a breath. You're going to take a breather. You're going to let the market do what it's supposed to do. You're going to let it give you a formation that's telling you that it's ready for it to finish the order block and come down. Of course, we know that all of this can happen very quickly and sometimes without us knowing it or before we can notice it. But it's okay because there's no FOMO. There's always another trade. All right, so this is the support. If you're asking like where is price coming down to, this is what I see. All right. We don't really have to worry about the upside right now. Duh. There's no fair value gaps up here or anything. Of course, you can mark it the top if it hasn't already been marked, but boom. All right, 53.17. I'm marking the body. I'm not worried about the wick. The wick is the all-time high. I don't really care about that anymore since we are so far down. I don't care about the all-time high anymore. It doesn't matter until we get close to it. All right. So for now, this is my trading range between 53.12 and 49.36 as far as the weekly perspective is concerned. All right. Let's come down to the daily. Coming down to the daily, let's just immediately square off our fair value gaps. So let's take the daily fair value gap that was just formed last week. All right. These smaller little fair value gaps at the top above this choppiness, I would just leave alone because they have exit wounds, right? Our wicks have exit wounds through these fair value gaps, right? They've been the wick has pierced all the way through to the other side, meaning that it's an exit wound, and price came down, left there, came all the way down, and of course we had this Globex gap, this daily Globex gap here. Remember this gap? And it finally came back and put a body candle most of the way through it. Don't be surprised if it keeps coming. All right. So I do expect this candle to keep coming down. I do not expect a high retracement back up to the upside just from the daily perspective looking at these candles. I don't care how long this wick is at the bottom. I do still believe price is going to come down. I do believe it's going to run up first, but I believe the overall trend is still bearish. All right. We got a nice rejection here, which is great, which just should give you caution on how to enter because it could bounce a little bit, right? It can bounce a little bit and then finish coming down. So that will just be noticing this wick should tell you trade with caution as price may continue to come down. All right. As far as you scalping the top side, caution. All right. We did wick into this body of the candle here, so I would assume that will want to continue and finish at the very bottom of 53 or 49.36, excuse me. Once it does that, once it hits this weekly again and revisit it, I will pause and see how it wants to play, see what news, what day, because you got to remember the day that it does that, you want to pay attention to what day it is, meaning that not what day of the week is it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday, but more like, is there a major news event on that same day, or are we leading up to a news event the next day when it's making a move? You know how things like which will run down and take liquidity the day before news hits, something like that. So we want to pay attention to the timing of it, and how we may want to clear the whole thing out in preparation for a news day, right? So we'll just keep that in mind. But I still feel like we got some more downward pull here. Okay. Once we reach it, somehow, some way, we may, heavy emphasis on the may, turn back around. I have no idea on that one. that is going to, again, we can clear the whole weekly. Remember, this was a weekly order block. So if we clear the weekly order block, we'll be coming further down, right? And from the daily perspective, we definitely can come down there. We have a kid left in a fair value gap. Here's a daily kid left in a fair value gap. Let's mark it. Do y'all see it? I see it. That's why we zoom out. All right. Daily kids. Daily kids left in a fair value gap by itself. No chaperones, no nothing at 46.23. Now, what y'all think gonna happen at some point? Now, for the bold swing traders out there that can hold SPY or ES to 46.23, give me some of that power because I can't hold that long. All right. But I have a lot of conviction to make it way down there. How you want to trade it down there is going to be you, your patience, your tenacity, and everything else. But the clues and the signals are there. But come back out to the weekly and we see where that line is. All right. That means price would have to come through the neckline, or bounce at the neckline here. This is where price was. Let me squeeze the chart. Okay. So let's look at the whole picture from the weekly. From the cradle, the large candlestick pattern is what I'm trying to point out here. We have a large candlestick pattern of a cradle type thing going on, right? And price eventually started to come back up, 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 up. Finally broke and is retesting the neckline where it broke out. By doing that, it would most likely need to test the order block and potentially all the way through before getting enough buyers to continue making the next, to come back up and potentially make a new high at some point, right? So if it were to come down and address those kids in the daily, which is all the way down here, that means it's going to clear this a smaller order block, come further down to the thicker neckline, if that kind of makes sense, like this whole area right here being a stronger level of support. And if it wants to dip in there, I don't know how the wicks want to do. It's a weekly to come here and test this. It's possible. Don't be surprised also if it comes all the way through here because the signal is there. That line is right in alignment with a weekly fair value gap. So it's possible. All right. We're just going to be looking how the candlesticks draw to let us know if it really wants it or not. That's it. You just want to make note of it. So I'm going to label this daily fair value gap open with kids, of course. All right. And I'll probably just lock that line and keep it down there until we get back down there and it matters to me. You know what I mean? So you can lock it and boom. All right. So I like that for the daily. Coming down to the 2-hour on ES, we have, of course, this small 2-hour fair value gap that has not finished being filled up here at 5101, right? So this is a 2-hour. So I'll label these smaller lines for you guys. 2-hour fair value gap. This is the close. So the trade I'm looking at right now, you guys, this is the ES trade that I'm looking for to take in about 30 minutes because I feel like we need a pullback. I feel like the pullback will be up to this 2-hour fair value gap close it from where price is. And I don't know if price is going to gap open tonight or not. That's a big run up, like $98. But I want to see based on the way this W is kind of doing right now. It could be a W. It doesn't have to be, but I want to see how, depending on how it draws, I think we can come back up here and finish this 2-hour fair value gap close. I would like to take it down here at the bottom of it and then ride it all the way back up through there to come out to the daily. That line is all the way up here. That's the reason why it's kind of like a sticky spot, but we know that it could definitely get a green can. We can get like 2 green candles come up this way. And that does not mean we are coming back out to the upside. That means we can continue the trend. It will be kind of like, this is an ugly head and shoulders, but from the weekly perspective, if it was going to do a head and shoulders from here, it would definitely need some type of other candles to like break it up, right? You would need that green candle right here, another green or red smaller candle so it can make that shoulder. So if we're thinking about that like that, then price should come up quite a bit up here to retrace before coming back down if it's going to really take out that order block that's down there. And it's pretty, it's pretty strong saying that how many candles it is on the time frame that we found it on, the larger time frame. So you're gonna have to get some sellers so we can break down that level of support, right? So this is the first trade that I'm seeing. As you guys know, I do ES back and forth, up and down for the 2-hour fair value gap runs. So I'm looking to see if price is gonna give me the candlesticks to ride it back up here, take profit somewhere back up, or at least test it, and then come back down. That's how I'm looking at this. It's all a matter of what do you think about those two? These two tweets, this one at 50-50 or 50-82?
Yeah, the both, but well, the ones, oh, the thing just, I'm just gonna see after you do that. Okay, oh, where's my mouse? The one by 50-20, is that it? It's like right above that last candle, and then the other one at 50-49-50. And yes,
Okay,
there is another, I just noticed that too. You did say that there's another one at 50-82. So
correct.
it,
That so you're looking at 50-20. So you're looking at this. Okay, I don't call this a tweet. I mean, technically it's a tweet or chop, so I got you. Okay. I just I don't know because I don't want to confuse it right now. I'm gonna leave the comment to myself. Okay, so this tweezer I'm not as worried about because I see it as a W. That's why.
okay.
And this is more of a tweezer than this is because the reason why this one to me is not as much as a tweezer is more of a shoulder than a tweezer. I know that if you only look at the two candles, yes, by definition, the tops are flat as a tweezer. But because it's not, when you add 3 candles to it, it's not like a reversal. It's like a continuation. Like this is a flag of some sort. It should be like a flag or something like that on a 15-minute. Yeah, price came down, then stuttered, then continued to come down. So it's like, um, I look at it more of a kind of like a small little order block more than a tweezer, like a reversal. I hope I'm not confusing when I say that. Just saying, does that make sense?
No.
Or anybody on the call? I feel like I just lost y'all that because it's like, give me a second, because it's something about how I see it. It's like, all right,
So maybe I should explain it better. The way I was looking at it was that yes, it could be a W pattern, like go back to a W pattern, but it also could, there's a possibility that it would go back up, but go back down quicker because of those two tweezer tops.
the only reason why you can't conclude that because it depends on like because this is Sunday night, right? Let's just put some more context on it. All right. Advanced trader pro tip. It can do one of them ugly ass W's where it does that slow chop, long wing bullshit thing out here to the top to get back up there. Do you know what
Yes,
I'm talking about?
bat wings. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like this elongated bat wing to get up there because I think that this may be a tweezer top on the tweezer bottom, and that would rule out this little pattern right here. This wouldn't be a tweezer top anymore because I see the
Okay.
potential W showing, and it's not a tweezer top because God, what is the words I'm looking for on
Because
it?
I
It's
look
like
at
this is
that
a tweezer
long.
top, this is a
Uh,
tweezer top, but this is not. It's not because of the fact that it's this candle right here before it. That's why it's not. Versus this candle. Okay, if we study, let's just all eyes on this formation, right? This area. The reason why these two candles is a tweezer top is because the third candle before it is continuing in a direction. You get the doji and then you get the reversal, right? Like the tweezer it's like a true reversal. The candle before it is not, um, golly, God, I'm
I
gonna have to
think
like
of
work on the words on this because I'm like, I know what I want, I know what I mean, but I am searching for words right now.
I think of the tweezer tops as like the top of the hill because
Yeah,
you're at the top of the hill and it's about to go down.
Correct. And then the fact that this, even though these two candles do, if they were isolated by themselves, they do fact say tweezer, but you're not at the top of the hill, you're already coming down it. That's a great, thank you, Katrina. Oh, I love you for that. Because it's like,
So
because
it's
this thing can't,
already so it's already in motion.
correct. It's already falling
Okay.
down the hill.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
So like
Gotcha.
your
Gotcha.
tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms are usually like the top of the hill and price is gonna come back down. Um,
Yeah. Thank you,
right.
Katrina. That helped.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome.
Oh God. Oh, that's lovely. Teamwork made the dream work, ladies. Thank you. So that's why I'm only really looking at this as a tweezer top. And if we don't surpass this, then it won't make the W, the 50-50 area. So if we can't break that, then we'll fall and we'll continue to fall, kind of like what Jacinia was hinting to. We could just drop faster if we don't break it. But if it does the W, and the reason why I'm feeling like it will is because of the liquidity that's left up here in this 2-hour fair value gap. Do I think it may take some time, especially since tomorrow there is no red folder? Hell yeah. It's going to do that slow, dumb crap. There's nothing going on tomorrow. Or because nothing's going on tomorrow, all the traders, retail traders, going to get in here and we're going to be like, let's just run it up right quick and run it. I have no idea. But 6 o'clock is around the corner. And by 9 p.m. tonight, I think we'll have a better idea of what that's going to look like for the start of the week. That's the best way I can say, ladies. It's the best thing I can say. But that's why I feel that way. Come back up and then come back down. All right. I think we're good with ESO. I think we're good because the only other little fair value gap close is down here at the bottom. On the 2-hour, there is, it's not illuminated for my indicator, but you all know that this is a fair value gap in here. So if you were to mark the wick of it, just so you can have another support line for the 2-hour perspective, right? And you want to just do 2-hour fair value gap close, just like, support lines for take profit orders and stuff like that. Then you can go there. And then as you can see, when we come back to current price, like we got really close to there, but we didn't finish. So we can essentially come back down there to finish out that fair value gap too. Of course, we have a little room up here. So this is typical Sunday, one or the other. Which one is it going to do first? You're going to go up first, you're going to go down first. Me looking at the fact that Friday's close look like it's about to start another tweezer bottom leg, one of those catty-wop W's. I think we'll go up first, but we'll see. All right. All right. What tickers we looking at tonight, ladies? What tickers we looking at? Of course, ES is always our friend. And SPY. And we can always do side by side from what we charted and look at SPY. Right, I go start with SPY and then we can go from there. But you guys start loading them up in the chat. What are we talking about tonight? All right, let's do SPY. So SPY come out. We're on the weekly with SPY. Same thing, you guys. Fair value gap right there, 40.90. All right. Remember I told y'all how that 500 strike had like 100 and something thousand open interest. Y'all see why, right? Because SPY at 4.95. I traded that SPY contract. I didn't care that it was a little more expensive. 100,000 open interest. Oh, that one making money. That one, it got to be making money. It got to be. Oh, it was a great profitable put last week. Sorry. It was a great profitable put. Man, when y'all see anything like that, please trade that contract. Okay. Like if you can afford it, obviously, so but whew, it was great. I could afford it. It was just a slightly one of them like slightly risk. I made sure I stayed out of everything else to be able to afford that little extra risk. Just sat back and chill. Just saying. Just saying. All right. SPY looks great. I love the same thing. Same bear value gaps. It's coming down. Let's come to the daily. All right. We had this choppy gap, that whole gap. And now y'all know we was coming for this big old gap here. Just to recap for those who may have missed this gap. Once pretty much, yeah, once we got this candle between Tuesday and Wednesday, I had confirmed put, and I got out by Friday or SPY. Because these two candles, this one alone, this doji alone, to me was enough conviction that price would come and take the gap. Was anybody else confused as to why that's not the signal to get in on the downside? I'll explain it now. But this doji on Tuesday was enough to make you either want to buy puts by Wednesday, or you bought them to hold overnight on Tuesday. I think I got in on Wednesday morning once price came back down into this little area, and then I took the rest of it. All right, so that's SPY. SPY does have some more room coming down here. You know, the abandoned baby and all that stuff that needs to be taken out. I understand not being able to concentrate. So, and then of course there's just small itty bitty gap within that weekly fair value. So of course the 490, 489, I can see it all day for price to keep coming down here. I don't see why I wouldn't. Of course it can chop up, like I warned you guys already with ES at this level, because it is, if you were to fill the gaps in with candles, it's very choppy here. So you can consider it as an order block area. And so we'll see how we want to clear through it. All right. Of course, we'll also mark the fair value gap to the top side on the daily, because I do believe that price can, at some point, is going to want to come back up through there. And of course, I'm going to be ready for it. Those daily fair value gaps usually don't fail me much either. As soon as I get the signal on the 2 hour that price is looking like it's doing the bearish, I come out to the daily, bullish signal. I come out to the daily and I'll see if it's in alignment with trying to go for this fair value gap on the daily, and I'll ride SPY right back up and close at 509. All right. So if you feel like you missed a downward pull, you can wait for SPY to come back up for this fair value gap. That's if it comes back up for it sooner than later. All right, because it could more focus on downside and come back weeks from now. Okay, just keep that in mind. All right. Esther said cat, of course. I wonder if it will hit an 8 candle downtrend. You know, I've been waiting for the day for that, for us to get that formation in inverse, because lately we've been having it, you know, up. I'm like, come on, man, yo, you gotta give me the 8 candles down. Like, so since you said it, let's count newer lows, right? So this is the breakout. So we got 1 low, 2, 3, 4, 5 lows. If it's gonna do 8, that means we have a guaranteed 3 more bearish candles. 3 more bearish candles. That don't mean that they're gonna be long, but that means it'll be bearish. So it's like, again, for my swing traders, right? Hitting over there. It's Kim in the house today. Who else is, you know, my swing traders who we jumping out of puts too early. I potentially 3 more candles as we come down and hit this 490. All right. So if it does the 8, we got 5, and we know what the market culture is feeling like right now. So 3 more days of red candles that's highly likely, y'all. Highly likely. All right. All right. Let's switch over to cat. Let me know if I need to run back over something, but let's switch over to cat. Esther, I know when you take a hit, you disappear on me for a while, which is totally fine. You gotta recover. I was like, Esther's over there licking her wounds. and I was watching Cat every day that you weren't in here too, and I was like, I wonder what she would have did. Thinking about you, girl. Thinking about you. I don't blame you. You got to take those breaks. You have to. So it's actually good practice. I could actually encourage you to continue, but I couldn't help myself but look at Cat the whole time. So, man, Cat did the put side with a lot of things did the put side with a vengeance last week with no problem. So looking at Cat, I'm not going to completely rechart everything with Cat because we have some good lines already. I'll take out my smaller ones here, but leave the basic structure. Okay. I think your chart already kind of looks like this too, Esther, with the fair value gaps and things like that from the weekly and monthly, because that haven't changed much. But now we see that Cat has officially dipped into that weekly fair value gap open. Ooh, what's next? And then we got a nice tweezer top evening star type pattern. Talk about a combination. You got a tweezer top and you got an evening star and you done dipped into a lower fair value gap. So how far down are we going? And the kids, there's kids. These are is this kids left in a fair value gap on cat? Is that kids?
Yeah. Oh yeah, those are kids. Those are the funny looking kids that nobody wants to lay claim to. Those poor things are like locked outside in the yard. Look at that. They're barely in that gap. Yeah, so I drew a fib on the weekly.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch up with you for that. Let me put this. Let me
Because
mark
it's
this.
gonna make you
Yeah.
laugh. Because you said how low
Okay.
can it go? I have a target in mind. Tell me what
All
you
right.
think.
All right. All right. All
Now,
right. So you
yeah, it
drew the
has
fib.
earnings
What
on
time frame
Thursday.
did you draw the fib?
Weekly. I drew it on the
Oh, you drew.
weekly.
Well, look at you. Oh, you trying to swing
Well,
trade? Let's go.
I'm trying to calm my emotions. So if I think that, well, and Caterpillar's reporting on Thursday. So this could be look like a swing trade, but get us out pretty fast, right?
Okay.
If we were
Okay.
to swing low. So I drew the fib from, let's see, I can tell you which candle actually. It's the Monday, the 12th of February. So it actually was at, what is that?
12th of
Three.
February. You did the top. You did the
I did the
bottom
bottom of
of.
the bottom, the wick.
Okay, I see it. You did
Yeah.
the. Okay, so that's your
To the
bottom,
top.
and
Yeah,
then
to
your
the top of
top
that. There,
is
exactly right
here.
there. You
Okay.
got it. Yep,
All
exactly there.
right. And so you're expecting price to come through at least this 50% range, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And hit and clear out that
Exactly.
weekly fair value gap
Yep.
close,
That's
essentially.
exactly. Yep.
Sounds good enough for
I
me.
mean,
How's
even
that
if you
look on
would,
the daily?
looks pretty good actually, which is
So the
really
only thing
scary.
is your first profit, your first take profit target, if it doesn't come all the way as fast as you want, what,
Right.
349 to acknowledge that daily
Yeah,
fair value gap?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, and the reason I'm saying all that too is because there's all this weird crap going on. I think Caterpillar is just like a canary in the coal mine when it comes to the market sentiment. When there's a lot of
Okay.
fear and the Dow gets really weird,
Mm-hmm.
Caterpillar's either propping the Dow up or dragging the Dow down. Like it's there's no in between because Caterpillar is so heavily weighted. So I feel like when it starts to feel like, holy crap, we're going to the downside, jumping on Caterpillar, going to the down, seeing if Caterpillar is running concurrent with the market or not to me has been very interesting because Caterpillar routinely drops to a minimum of 50% retracement on a fib.
Yep. Yep.
Minimum. You sometimes all the way to the 61%. So I don't want to get unrealistic, but but yeah, my target was the 346-ish, that
But I see what you're
50,
doing. You're
50,
using
46.
the longer time frame to help your
Mhm.
conviction with your day trading
Right.
and your
Exactly.
emotions, so you won't hop out too fast. I see it all
Exactly.
day. I
Because I've
see
been
what you're
hopping
doing.
out really fast and I'm
And
I'm
then you
starting
come
to
back
think
by the end of the
about
week like, shit, I could have.
shit, yeah, seriously, it's just not right. I was in this stupid trade. So yes, there's great part about, get in, get out, get in, get out. A little bit of profit is great, but maybe there's a way to maximize this
Of
experience.
course there is. There
So,
definitely is,
right.
but it's your emotions and you're doing
Trust me, I
everything right.
know.
I like that. I like what you did. You're finding the swing high and the swing low. And this is a
Uh,
perfect one. Really close to current price and closest swing high to swing low to
yeah,
current price. But on the larger time frames, you can hold your conviction on a daily,
right,
day
right,
by day. I love it. I
right.
love the psychology. Get it,
Well, let's
Esther.
see. And earnings and Caterpillar just had a whole bunch of revisions to the upside for price targets from different, Wells Fargo, who, people like the city, blah, blah, blah. 375 was the most recent one.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no,
we're
that's not
there.
coming
I
back down
mean,
there.
yeah. So we could see it pop right back up after earnings. That's why this would be a fun trade to get in, like maybe if we could find a good spot, like get in with two contracts and then take one off the
But to be
table
honest, to
before
back up to the
earnings.
upside, I don't know.
Well, I don't know either,
Because
but
there's no
I don't see it.
liquidity.
I don't see
I
it.
don't see any grabs either. From the
No,
2 hour and the
no.
daily, I got nothing. To
Well,
the
and
upside,
this is a big earnings week too. We've got Microsoft, Google, Meta, Visa. So
I
there's going to
think
be
if
all this. Yeah,
anything,
it's
you'll
going to be a lot.
plummet. I think if anything, you'll plummet.
I
You'll knock
think we
out all
could
this
be
liquidity
very
down
scary.
here.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you could plummet more because you have a few little like, Globex gaps
yeah. Like I said,
in
that
cat.
30,
Like
look
you
at the
have this.
61%.
Yeah.
Telling you.
And
I
then
mean,
it can even
two
and then
contracts, take one at one target and then set a second target
you use this
and buckle up.
candle so it can come all the way down to the one
Well, it
because that's
could,
the
but
I
nobody wants
mean
that, but it could.
but that
I
would
don't
be
think with earnings it's
retesting.
gonna do that. If the earnings blew,
Uh,
if they blew away earnings, that, because remember, they're benefiting a lot from the infrastructure bill. So I would not bet
okay, maybe it
against
won't come
Caterpillar's
down to
earnings.
one, but I can at least see it bouncing strongly
Mhm.
on top of this weekly little
Mhm.
order block consolidation,
Well,
right? Is that
and
what you're
even
looking at?
actually, I was looking at the 338, the 61% fib. I think it could come to that. Could it come? Could it challenge and
I
take
think
those
it could
wicks?
dig
It could come
331.
further.
Yeah,
It
I think it
could.
may
It could.
try.
I think
But
338 is a
but
really
I
great
think you're
target, though.
safe at 338. I
Yeah,
see
I
it
think
now.
so
I
too.
see how you're looking at it.
Just a thought,
Me personally,
yeah. I
just
mean,
to
if it's falling,
overshoot, to
it's
be
falling.
honest, to
Yeah.
overshoot, you have two targets. So the runner mindset is you take profit at 344 and then
Mhm.
you stay into 338
Okay.
with a second, you know what I'm saying? Because you see
Yeah.
the 334 is your weekly fair value gap close. You know that weekly gonna hold some weight. So you
Wow.
may want to
Yeah.
take profit there first.
Yeah.
344, acknowledging the weekly fair value gap close
Okay. Right.
because it's just a little bit beyond that 50%,
hmm
right? So
hmm
maybe there and then see what your candle look like there and see if you can get in. I just don't want it to bounce harder than you expect at that level on you and you hold it.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So then maybe not hold it. Maybe just do one and take it, test it, see what happens. Do one contract. Don't get too crazy.
Don't get too crazy. Yeah. Do one, see what it gets down there. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
bounce. You're right. It'll bounce off the 50 and then it'll like hesitate and consolidate and then do whatever it's going to do next. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
earnings
I
could turn it around.
feel
So who knows?
I'm more profitable when I use one contract.
hmm Okay.
When I
That's
use
good to know.
one contract, taking like first target, second target, as I know that larger move, but when I take it in pieces, because you know there's gonna be some bouncing in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then depending on
And
what day you are, your wife pissed you off, it's gonna help you gonna click the damn button and it's a wrap.
Mhm,
That's all it
mhm,
takes.
mhm. Oh yeah. It's like you see me. Oh yeah.
Because I go through it over here. My kid do something, my husband do something. I'm like, damn it, y'all done messed up my trade. Get out of
I
my
need to
head.
control something. Let me go push a button. Yeah. Mhm.
So I get
Seriously.
it.
So I get to make other bad decisions. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So this
Uh,
yeah, your
but yeah,
star
but
line,
again,
that first target.
yeah, but fair warning, again, we're always taught not to trade earnings, right? So word to the wise, just be cautious, and capital preservation is also part of our game and part of our
And
journey.
then also
So,
your inflation. How inflated is cat gonna be this week if you're gonna trade
oh
it this
girl, I
week?
don't know. I have a scared. I don't even want to look at it. This is, a girl can dream, but yeah, you're right.
That's
But buying
another
more than one
reason why to
contract is
do
probably
one
not going to
contract.
happen, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Cool.
funny. I'm gonna look it up now. I'll put it in the chat.
Sounds good. All right.
All right, bye.
There's cat. No
Thank you.
problem. Thanks. No problem. What was the other one we talked about? Nvidia. So let's look at Nvidia, y'all. Nvidia. Cat is a good one. I love this move. Let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia tanked great. So Nvidia was doing this like flag. Remember, it's just kind of staying up here. Now we all know flags can come down. Now it said it was looking like it could do a continuation, but a flag does not have to break up. All right. From this weekly perspective, there is not many signals here that will let you know that it was going to break down, except for the fact that you did have weekly fair value gap. Let me see. Where did I have that open? Where did this line come from? Oh, that's what it was. So because I have two, so you have the gap here, but you see how the wick, let me move the line for a second. You see how it wicked through, but then it wicked all the way through into the second fair value gap and then left the kids in the lower one. And it's, so you have two wicks here. This wick is forming the border block, but the second wick is the one that's the kids are in it. So knowing again the theory on kids should have helped you maybe possibly say, okay, price will break out to the downside, right? So with that being the case, and it did break out to the downside, now you have a conviction here. So this type of breakout, I ain't gonna lie, is pretty strong. And NVIDIA does not have a lot of support to hold this sucker up. I would not be surprised if it makes a nice, healthy plummet all the way back down to where I probably should have got back in and didn't. So I guess I don't feel too bad about that. I'll catch it on the next side. But this is the cool thing about trading. So I do think we could potentially hold support once we retest the kids here. but I'm not really sure because there is a gap in between here. I'm not convinced because where the consolidation of candles really lie is all the way back down here at 500. All right. So, man, I'll short it all day back down. I have no problem. I mean, I took my money from 200 to 400, missed all this to basically 1,000. Not a problem because it just kept running, so I wasn't jumping in it. So now that we have a nice healthy pullback, we can short this sucker. Here is Nvidia dipping into the larger gap below. So let's not be surprised that it takes this gap out within this fair value gap, trying to come down to the fair value gap. I mean, so your daily gap close, the Globex gap close, if I were to put that here, that would be at 681. Go Globex gap close, right? This one's already done, so we can move this line. All right, and then of course, this is let me see, the gap is from February 21st to February 22nd. Of course, we have a smaller gap within it. Y'all know how I feel about these smaller gaps within it. So you have this smaller gap in between at 725. So don't be surprised if price, it comes down into here, first it's probably going to bounce at 741 just because that's the first little break within the gap as well. Then it'll come down to, that's that candle right here. Then it'll come down to 725 and then potentially finish the gap all the way down. Of course, they'll probably close the fair value gap. So you can do a dotted line here just to differentiate. Dotted. 689 to close the fair value gap, right? And then 681 to close the actual physical gap. Woo! But that's a put for you, man. I mean, I really believe that saying that I have no daily fair value gaps on here, I only have this small little Globex gap, which is not giving much conviction that wants to go up. I feel very bearish for Nvidia, especially after looking at what Friday did. That shit was crazy on Friday. It just ran down like all the way down. It was just like, nah, we're out of here. And there you have it. AMD took the same plummet and had kids left in a fair value gap down here, and look, it's coming for them. All right, you guys know when these kids are left, that's the signal that price has to come back at some point. It may take a while, but it's coming back. All right. The longer you go without seeing the kids left, the longer you can hold your run. As soon as you leave, you see the kids left. You're literally looking at the clock at some point. At some point, when are you turning around? Now you're just trading in the trend until you get your reversal candle, your pin bar, your tweezer top, your if it's a large pattern like your double top or your inverted cup and handle or something like that, because these kids have to be addressed. All right. So that's AMD. Just look at the same thing. It's kind of giving us scan here of the charts. This is the weekly, how it looked. Look at that. Oh my God. This is just beautiful. And again, look at the weekly. Kids left in the fair value gap. So you trade the trend. Price keep going up. Oh, keep going up. Boom, pin bar. Your pin bar that had that formed the evening star, I would say, because all this chop, you know what it was going to do. So you probably didn't even trade this. It ran up and did this thing. Okay, whatever. Now it's coming down. Now you're like, okay, I brought my puts down. First target to test the gap, right? Yeah, I got kids in the fair value gap. So you can keep holding. Maybe possibly go through the gap. It's just assessing these and finding all these little signals. And you guys got to make sure you go back in enough time. Now, of course, this one's over count, but that one's already beaten through a lot. Yep. So that's it for AMD. So we have this at what price level is this? 134 for a target down to the downside. So that's another almost 135, another like $10 on AMD to grab. Going down as it looks like it's trying to clear the fair value gap in order block. Disney, oh Disney, will you please turn back around now at some point? I'm not sure how Disney wants to play on top of the weekly fair value gap here. I do see the pullback. This is the move I've been waiting on it to do. I noticed it was doing this. I'm not surprised. I just need another candle or two to let me know you're trying to come back up so I can finish doing the upward pull. I'm just waiting on my signal so I can get in. Same thing, was just waiting with Disney. Same thing with Target. Target has more liquidity up at the top and has pulled back with the rest of the market pulling back, but it's not, doesn't have as much liquidity on the downside of some of the other tickers. So Target and Disney, it's really like just kind of stagnating while all of this settles. And then I believe at some point it can turn around with the rest of the market and come up. So here we go. Target left its little kids in a fair value gap here. Aha. So the next clue should be we leave it and then come back. But we can also chop around in it, and that will also let us know that it's gonna leave it as well. All of those things are again signals to let us know that, you know, price is potentially leaving this area sooner than later. All right. So I actually may look at buying this call on Target. I've traded Target before, so I don't necessarily have to take too many practice swings in sim, but Target is one that, you know, Esther pointed out. She found it for us, which is great, but it looks like it could be time. So check Target entry tomorrow. All right.
Forgive
That's
me, but we're looking for Target to go up, correct?
for
In
me,
theory.
yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
in
so
theory. It
too.
just
All right,
left the
great.
kids in the wick here
Mm-hmm.
from last week. Last week's candle left the kids here. Usually this is a signal that we should go away from the kids. So usually that's what this, you know, this is what usually it is. So we can prepare for those calls. That may be a good one, saying that it doesn't have earnings. It may be safer.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't.
And it's outside of the realm of what they're all going to be obsessed with tech this week,
Exactly.
except for Visa. And if Visa says the American consumer is alive and well, then all
You
retail
know?
should benefit from that, right?
Right.
So
So
let's
Target
see.
may be the one that
Okay.
may be a better rebel this week. You
Okay.
know?
Let's look at that.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
But I love the way it closed. I love the way the weekly candle closed. I love how it did that, because that definitely helps me believe that it is just gonna chop up here and continue up at some point.
Me too.
XOXL took it down all the way down through here. Damn, I should have gotten XOXL puts. But I don't like how choppy it is. So I prefer not to play puts. That's just my preference. But you can play them. I did say that it probably come down for this gap, and it is doing that. So where are you trying to go now? Because you fell way more than what I thought you was going to do through that. Not really surprised, saying that all this liquidity was still in here. I'm assuming that it can catch support at 24. But again, this was an exit wound. You guys remember? I keep reiterating that this was, in fact, an exit wound here. So it's really kind of not surprising that XOXL is not turning around. So what do I say? Like, so it's not being so friendly about turning back around, because it's like, but I already went as far as I can go. And I just need, you know, NVIDIA took a hit. So of course it's a semiconductor. So it's just gonna take some more time until we get back up there. So we could either short XOXL. That's probably all I would do until NVIDIA gets some strength back up. I wouldn't worry about the call side, because NVIDIA is one of the biggest power drivers in XOXL. So I would just pause a little bit. All right. Just pause a little bit. Looking at silver and gold. Thanks again to Esther for this one. Esther, is your silver still doing well for you, or did you get out and reposition it? Just
So
curious.
I got out and I wasn't feeling well last week, so I just stayed out of the market altogether, and I was so happy I did. Because it was just such madness. And silver was the anomaly, right? It was one of those flight to safety things that stayed stable and still actually went up, which is awesome. But yeah, I made money. It actually helped me with a couple of losses, so it was a good hedge. I'm looking to reposition to get back in though, so that's why I wanted us to look at it together.
Yeah, so we can definitely get this together. I still think it's pretty healthy. I went
Hmm.
over it on Friday, because it's a metal type of thing. So
Right.
it's, of course, it's doing its little bounce around, but I do believe overall it's still a healthier hold, you know, like
Okay.
long-term hold, like investor mindset
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
We'll say.
I had bought a December 31st call that I was holding in, and it made $200. That was amazing. And it was inexpensive. So I would highly recommend it. I'll look that up too. I'm looking up Caterpillar. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, cool. This one I'm thinking more of like the strategy, I think. Oh, because it's cheap as well. Covered calls is where I'm leaning to be like your
Okay.
investor portfolio strategy
That's
for
cool.
tickers like this,
Yeah.
metals like that, energy. It's probably going to be better strategy to long-term investment. Like, you buy them like they're your 401k, and then
Mhm.
you make some extra money off of them with covered calls when you can,
Fun. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's how Joni trades a lot, is she does cover calls off of shares that she owns. So that's great.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank
Cool.
you.
No problem. Kim said, can you explain a fair value gap, open or close? I have the reverse. What ticker were you looking at, Kim? Was that back on SLXL? I have to move lines around, of course.
You can go back to SPY and look at it. It's
It
just
was SPY.
your green is reversed from mine. So there has to be some logic that I'm not understanding on that.
All right. So what level are you looking at? What price?
No, so like if you like when you put your lines on your fair value gaps,
Mm-hmm.
at the top of a green one, mine would be a close and the bottom of it would be an open. You have
That's
your
trader's choice. I'm not going like,
okay.
because the way I vision it, the reason why mine are probably inverse is because, like, for instance, okay, looking at my spy chart right now, right? This is a weekly fair value gap. So because price is coming down, to me, the top line is the open because I fell into the hole. Does that make sense? That's the reason why mine say open based on like where price is coming into it. So if price is gonna come into it from the top, then the
Okay.
top is open. If price actually is going into it from the bottom, then my bottom line is open. Does that make sense? That's it.
Yes,
It's
that
just
makes
where
sense.
price is coming to it. And that's why, I say trader's choice on that, on how you label your lines, as long as it makes sense to you. That's all that matters. Yep. Okay. I'm looking at Cat May 17th. Esther's giving out strikes. So let's see. I like this. I'm gonna write these down, Esther, so I can put them in the notes on for this call. So we got Cat. We're using May 17th. I am going to start investigating some more SPY contracts because I was using May 17th last week. I don't know if I want to use May 17th this week still for SPY. I may. Let me just see. So Cat May 17th. 340 strike. Okay. And then, all right, I like that one. Whenever you get ready to drop your silver one that you're looking at, you can drop that one. Esther, the contract and the strike. Just care more about the ticker, the date, and the strike. Right. And if anybody has anything else, then I'll open up my option chain and give you guys some things I'm looking at as well. But for now, I'm just trying to get through the charting. All right. Any other tickers you guys want to specialize on today? I went through most of the watch list, just giving you guys an overview. It is 6 o'clock. If there's anything particular for your trading portfolio, you know, what you trade, you want another set of eyes on it, analysis, I am here for that. Not, we'll look at ES at 6:02 because the market is on. This is the run up I was telling you about to that 2 hour. And we gapped up. Yay. So I just something about this says come and take me quickly and then come back. And I don't know how you want to look doing that, but great. Of course, I don't press the button this early, y'all. I don't press it at 6. I've pressed it at 6, and I usually get out by 7 when I do that. So I've learned that 8 o'clock is just a little more candles to help you better get in. If you missed it because it just does some stuff between now and 8, again, there's no FOMO. So, but I'm just being fully transparent. I don't push the button right now. I'm gonna wait, and then I'll push it, and I'll let you guys know where I'm at. But this is a lot of liquidity. You can even wait to see. So, like, you can potentially, let's see. Let me put on my dotted lines here. Let me use yellow's orangey color. So let's see. From current price to test the top, that's $34 just right there to come back up to this tweezer. All right. If you come to the 15-minute, there's not a lot of like fair value gap or anything in there. So please be careful trying to do that. All right. That's what I'm saying, to wait to later, because you have our wicks, I mean, are not really our wicks. Our fair value gaps don't have any wicks really in them left over on the small time frame. That usually kind of can help me. Just now we put a wick in this one, great, yay. So we'll take this one out, but that means nothing because it's right there. And you really got to break this top. Oh, what does a 3-minute look like? Is there any conviction that we're going to come back up to 50-50? All right. So the 3-minute, it wicked through here. I wonder how this is gonna work. How we want to do this? Wick through, trade carefully, my friend. Wick through. So we got nothing but exit wounds on the 3-minute, but the 3-minute is not enough, to be honest with you. You have this fair value gap here with no exit wounds, so it may still come for that because there's nothing in it at all. Then, so that's a 3-minute fair value gap close right here. Let me label that. I'm telling them 3 minutes have turned price around on me. I'm just saying 3-minute fair gap close. Let's see what happens at, because this is what Jasenia was saying, that 520 area, that tweezer, she was looking at it. So on a 3-minute, if it price came up to close this 3-minute fair value gap close, that's kind of in alignment with Jasenia was saying 520 or 50-20, 50-29. So come back out to 15-minute, come back out to the 2-hour. That's slightly beyond that little shoulder right here, right? So me personally, I have to see what the candlestick looks like between here and that 50-29. And then pattern looks right. I could potentially take it further up. Because ultimately I will prefer that it give me the candlestick patterns that's going to take out this fair value gap at 51.02. I'm not really worried about this little 30. It's $30. It looks great. It's like, oh my God, at $30, it could be so much money. But the thing is, you don't have like a clear path to it. So just chill. Because like we said, it doesn't have to come back up here at all. We can continue coming down. We can beat up top of this and you get no conviction. And we may be doing a long downward thing more to the downside for all liquidity at the bottom that it can still go get. So you are aware that, let me change this. I actually like this better. I'm going to come to the daily. I'm going to take this line because this fair value gap just started, right? And we know that price will come to close. If it doesn't want to leave a fair value gap, you guys remember, if it doesn't want to leave a fair value gap, then it has to come to 50.38 to not leave a fair value gap. Right? So that's why I took away that other line and replaced it with a daily fair value gap close, since that daily fair value gap closes before that other, what was it, 2-hour, 15-minute line or whatever it was, 3-minute. No, this was a 3-minute. Let me do that again. That's the 3-minute close here. This is the daily. And then it was this tweezer top. Let me do that. Okay, let me label accordingly. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so this is the 2-hour tweezer top. All right, and this line, oh, so this is dotted. Ooh, why I keep going on, buddy? Come on, Randy. Here, dotted. So 2-hour tweezer top. This line 50.38, daily fair value gap close. Right, so daily fair value gap close. Right? So what that tells you now, when you come to your 2 hour, looks like this. Boom. Perfect in alignment. Then you want to add this, you don't need this 3 minute here, but this to me is perfect because as you watch price from here, and so move my mouse out of the way. If you watch price from here, price should most likely, if it's not really trying to come back up to the upside, it's gonna turn around between 50.37 and 50.49. We should be having a turnaround, and it's not gonna break up that way and go from there. If it does break up that way, if it does further break up and it says, okay, I'm gonna come out and finish the fair value gap at 5102, don't be surprised if once it gets there, it takes a deep, deep plummet quickly, right? Like Jacinda was kind of used to something to make it come back fast. So it just depends here, guys. But I love these levels because you got all these little levels to kind of help you figure out, do you get a candle close above this? Is price or your candlestick pattern showing continuous short term, continuous short term, continuous short term. If it's on a short term bullish, okay, because just a little pull back up to the top because we know the trend is more bearish from the larger time frames, guys. Okay, so this is what ES looks like tonight. Of course, stand by and chat, and you guys know where to find the solve. We want some conviction jumping in here later. If price runs like that other night, the ES was just running its ass off. It's like, holy crap. So, but I don't see that situation as likely here unless Israel and Iran do something. But here we are, y'all. So where you guys know how Sunday nights are. It's just like a slow night till it picks up. And that's that. Of course, we have Forex on as well tonight. So just switching over to that before I let you guys go. For those of you who may not be speaking up about it as much, but are in fact interested in Forex and enjoy the analysis and experimenting on your own, here is the weekly for USD JPY. You guys know my favorite ticker. And as it came on tonight, we are still in this flag like pattern here. We left kids back to back in fair value gaps on the daily. So it makes me a little nervous because I feel like price can come down faster than when I will plan it to come down. So I'm just going to keep watching here because I see how on my 2 hour, how price is kind of rounding here. It's not giving me new highs. Even though on the daily, it looks like it could break up, but my 2 hour, my highs are getting consistently lower. All right. So I am looking to see how I could potentially take price down now, seeing those two wicks like that, because it wasn't there halfway through the week last week. So I wonder what reversal pattern I can get because it left this wick down here, which makes me feel like USD JPY is coming down with some vengeance. Coming down for these 2 hour fair value gaps. Right? I like it a lot. A whole lot because it struck there, it left the kids in there, and then it came back up, and then now I can properly enter myself for a short and catch all that good jazz. That's if it breaks out to the downside, right? Because from this daily, it's you kind of like, I don't know what you're gonna do, right? You kind of don't know. You kind of know, and you got kids. We got a few kids. This is the reason why I like USDJPY because it does this like crazy thing. It'll come back. So we got kids here, we got kids here, we got kids here. Whew, that's a lot of kids. Of course, the ones below the order block, I'm not as concerned about. I'm more worried about these first two and how I can collect this profit. So that looks great for USD JPY, y'all. They're slowly waiting for that entry signal, but I will get it. I'll know when it's time. Other than that, other tickers or currency pairs, I should say, with with Forex, excuse me. Euro JPY is still cooking. We went over a little bit of this on Friday. For those of you who are with us, I'm not doing a lot of extreme recharting right now. My lines, I just got to go in and change some of the colors on these, right? Because prices moved in a way, and this is weekly, prices moved in a way where, we just need to like adjust the openings and close of these gaps and colors and things like that. So I get all my stuff at the top. Price broke down here. that support, and now it's coming back up. So this is Euro USD on the daily, which could be coming for this higher fair value gap, this larger one, but I have to see how we close the current one that we're on right now. And I'm leaving this one green because it was support, and I want to see how it consolidates at this level, either before continuing down or coming back up to the upside. It's all the same charting, guys. Most of these tickers weren't doing much. So USD, British pound was the only other one that had potential. Here it is right here, where it was coming into a fair value gap, nice and strong on a daily. So it looks great. So USD, British pound is one that we could take up. Of course, you want to dissect this on the 2 hour. Come all the way back. And the reason why I like this one so much, of course, was when the bacon candle is aligned from the daily and the 2 hour, it ain't nothing but a profit money making move right there. So go and take your pips for USD and the British pound. All right. Right through there. It's a great, easy trade. Actually, let me write that one down. So I have Target and I have USD British pound that I can do some stuff with. Potentially ES, but right now I'm waiting on my ES entry. All right. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Just running back through the chat quickly, and this is pretty much all I got for Forex right now. Everything else is a little. I'll wait. So we do have the inverse. Hold on, let me say. Well, that was USD, British pound. If you do the inverse of British pound to USD, then you have the short side. Okay, so it's literally like flip it, and you can run it down. Right, you can run it down. Esther put in her silver trade, right? So she's looking at December 31st, like she said, 27 strike. All right, just wanted to make sure I call that out for everybody. Silver, December 31st, 27 strike, and she is cat. May 17th, 340 strike. All right, it's looking juicy there. SPY, let me look at potential SPY contracts for you guys, and then we'll let you guys go. All right, so for those who may want to take SPY, I would do SPY puts. All right. And Esther didn't say it, but this is a put she's looking at for cat. It's a put for silver. That's a call for silver, Esther, I'm assuming. Call for silver, put for cat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem. Just want to make sure we're going in the right direction here. See you guys later. I'm waiting on my option chain, guys. Give me a second. I did not have my broker open, so I apologize for those of you who got to leave. But I just want to give you guys some open interest, all of that to look at. And then I can let you guys go for this evening. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. All right.
Randy, how much time are you looking at for SPY?
At least okay. I'm gonna tell y'all how my psychology goes. I be switching it up, which is like, the Libra in me. It depends on what SPY is doing, but I'm usually doing one or two things. I'm usually playing 2 weeks or a month out. Just depends on the situation we're in. Does that make sense? Like if there's like a small gap or something small, I'll be like, okay, 2 weeks, day trade in and out. Like the price is doing it's gonna hit that target that day, done. And then if I feel like I have to hold it maybe like a day or two, then I go for the month.
Okay.
So
I have a quick question. I did some straddles last week while I was on that cruise, and I didn't get out my cars there in July, and I'm feeling like now they're kind of down. Well, kind of, yeah. Even though they're July, they're down because they were all in the money. Right there at the buddy. But I got out of my puts too fast. and not my cost. I didn't get out my cost. So I'm trying to figure out if I should just stay in my cost so they go up some, or if I should just go ahead and take that loss. Because now I wouldn't have made any money since I would be taking more of a loss now in my cost. Or I'm just trying to figure out, how do you do this roll over stuff if I wanted to roll over to some September calls?
So rolling requires a different rolling is kind of like you're usually rolling into a longer contract date, not just rolling into like a different position. It's almost like you want more time. It is, as I was researching rolling, that's the more profitable way to use the roll because you're still gotta exit and enter. That's still taking place. Um, so you gotta have the capital and stuff. So I don't know if rolling will be the best thing at this point in time for SPY. I believe SPY is really just, let me put on the weekly, not weekly SPY, I want daily SPY, but I want weekly ES. Okay. Um, well, I don't want to give hopium here. Because if we
Is
came
a good
up,
target.
No, I'm just thinking I have some time to stay in my cause, but it's gonna take too long.
I agree. It's more of like, I don't know how much of a pullback you can really recover on this. Because even though I'm looking at the weekly here on futures, and I know that of course it can come all the way back up to not leave a weekly fair value gap, which would be great for your calls. But when I look at the daily, I'm not as convinced that it wants to do that. So if it came back for the daily, hold on, let me label that 5122. What is that daily? Fair value gap open. Let me go back out to the weekly. And it's a little further than 50%. Ooh, of that candle. For it to come back up there, that's why I'm a little nervous about it. Did my lines move? Like what they it must have. Okay, so that's it coming into here. This is
Alyssa
the
asked me what my strikes were. The one is 501 for July the 19th. And then I have to go to a whole nother account for Fidelity. I think it was July too. And I think I got the one in Fidelity a longer time. So it might be a higher strike.
all right. This is
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a 513 strike. Yep.
so you said 501 and 513.
Because of 513, I got a while. I got probably
So the
before.
501, you maybe, man, that's like really hard. Cause I don't see price coming up a lot, and then the problem is it could do it tonight, you know what I'm saying, Kim, and then it'd be over with by tomorrow. So
That's the
I
thing
would
about
have,
straddles. It's hard to get out those cards when it's moving so fast.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. Oh, you can, the only thing I can think of, me personally, is just a hedge against it, just really cut that losses. It has so much more bearish sentiment, especially at this point. That 513 is definitely done. The 513 is just done. I
Yeah, I
think
need to get
that
out of it.
maybe by tomorrow you can close out the 501 with less of a loss, depending on how things move between tonight and tomorrow. I wouldn't really hold it past tomorrow. And then I will look for puts if you were going to still play SPY or trade something else completely to make your money back up if it had a better move. But looking at ES and SPY, I just have a lot more bearish conviction than anything else. I almost want to advise you to get another put, but I don't know what your capital management's looking like. So
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get
Yeah.
them in the put. It's just a matter of what am I gonna write it down to? Because I got out of them early because I put them at a set price to get out because I was once again I was on that cruise and I didn't necessarily have good Wi-Fi. So it got out at my target, but I just of course it was going further down. So that's how I lost
489. 489 is my target on SPY.
489.
Because I'll close the weekly fair value gap, and I'm pretty confident it'll do that this week. So that's one target, but I can't. You know me, I'm such a day trader. I need the data to be there before I can give the next piece of advice. So Esther's saying SPY, just looking at the option chain. So you're saying SPY May 17th, 490 strike. 490. That's out of the money. Yep. But see, y'all, I was playing that Esther. You see that 500 strike on SPY May 17th? That's the one I was playing. You see the open interest on that? That was the one I was trading. And I bought it when it was $700. Oh, if I would have held it through the
Oh my
weekend.
God,
I
seriously.
didn't hold it, but because I
No.
wasn't sure. I was like, I'm not holding this thing. But I knew to trade that one. I damn sure knew to trade that one.
Well, check out the 490. It's got 36,000
Yeah,
in
a lot of
volume.
them are high. A
It's
lot of them are
madness.
high.
It's madness.
So 490, you know, the
It's
490
cheaper.
is
So
64,000. Yes, I was even playing. I had went back in the 490 last week because it was further out the money
awesome.
and played that one at
Awesome.
$300. So it was
Oh
like,
my God. Now it
yeah,
must
it
feel like a
was.
bad taste in your mouth to do that again at this much money.
Yeah, it was. The four last week. The 490 was $400 to $300, and the 500 was $600 to $700.
Oh, it makes me want to
Yep.
hurt someone. Yeah. Seriously. Well, I think that these are inflated too, right?
They
The
were.
VIX
They
is up.
were last week.
Remember, we've been spoiled this year so far, right? The
Correct.
VIX has been incredibly low. And now all of a sudden everybody's like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Right. So, yeah. And yes, missiles are falling from the sky all around the Middle East. So, yes,
Mm-hmm.
things are
And
bad.
then your next highest open interest out of the money for those with smaller accounts, you can come down to 480. Because if price is gonna clear let me come back to the weekly now, y'all looking at ES. The price is really gonna clear this order block, which you know it's highly probable that means it's gonna come down to this 482. Let's go back to the weekly on SPY. You know, to test that gap down here, to test lines. I'm gonna have to lock these lines. Putting this side by side, right? Seeing that it broke past the first consolidation, both charts, this little bit and this little bit right here. Now it's coming down to the larger order block. ES being 4901, SPY being around the 470 area, 470, y'all. So that 480 strike with 80,000 open interest and a 24,000 volume and $300. Just gonna leave that there like that. All right. You got May, you can hold the May, you can use this May contract just for this week. So if you want to do out of the money for May, I will use the May 17th 480 for just this week. If you want to hold it beyond this week, because you think it may take multiple weeks, if you are that type of slinging, I will come closer in the money, right? I would just come closer. I mean, you can play it multiple ways. I've been profitable either way through this first week. It's just a question of how you want to hold it the next week, but being closer into the money is going to help you for if you're thinking I want to hold more than 1 week. All right. That's just my 2 cents I would give to that there. But these look really nice. SPY got a lot going on lately now. We're falling, sky's falling, chicken little all day, right? So let's get it. I do think we have some room left, like I told you, 489, and then pause. But of course, as you guys study, I'm giving another shout out to Esther because I love how she came in here with Kat and did a deeper analysis to figure out how she can hold her trades better, how she can hold her trades better. That's what come down to. I can only give so much, but you guys have to do the work to figure out how you're going to hold your trade better. A little tweaks here, maybe a little that, whatever you got to do. So
Yeah,
I like May
I hope
17th.
mine better when I'm
Traveling.
not vacationing versus when I'm vacationing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Now, quick question. What's the difference between open interest and volume?
So the open interest is like more like how many people are just like interested in it. The volume, how can I better define that? They both are showing like the amount of traders that are the volume is more like I think how many people have already are in that particular contract. I think the open interest is I wouldn't say it's 100% how many people have bought that contract. The open interest is just like it has this contract is hot. So um, I like open interest over volume more. Um, when they're both high, that's even better. Like if I'm looking at SPY right now, that contract that I was trading, a 500 strike contract, I mean, that's just a win-win all the way around. The volume's high, the open interest is high. So, this is interest over actually the volume of the contracts being traded. How many people are interested in the contract versus how many people are actually trading the volume traded of that contract. So slight differences. I have both on my options chain. It's up to you. I am looking at June 21st, the next monthly contract for SPY. I know that is a lot more money. I'm well aware. I get it. I totally get it. It is extremely expensive when you come out this far. I'm looking at like nothing less than $500. Everything's $600 or more. Um, so it's not bad. So me personally, you can play that 480 with more time. If you have if you can afford $600, right? And $600 is something you could play with, then I will come further out. I'll come to June 21st and I will play 480. That's what I would do. And then let SPY do it all the shit that it wants to do. And so then you just have less theta. That's really the biggest thing here is the theta, right? So you can hold it through
Yeah,
there.
I'm still in July. I'm still doing July ones, and I might move over to September ones.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and get closer to the money so I can make my money quicker.
Mm-hmm. Now, if I were to do roughly 2 weeks out with SPY, it really wouldn't be May 3rd. I'll probably push it out to May 10th contract and play with the strikes in there. Somewhere between May 10th and May 3rd. I'll probably teeter-totter between the two. Looking at them both now. If I did a shorter term, so shorter term, usually when I go less time, I definitely go a lot closer to in the money. Ain't nobody got time to play with that. So usually in this case, I'm just throwing out all the dates. So let me see. I actually like May 3rd better because it has higher open interest than May 10th and volume out of the money. It does. So we'll go with May 3rd. So with
That would
May
be somebody
3rd,
like you, right? Short-term trading.
yeah, that's what I'm telling you. I mean, if you want to do it, you can. It's
Oh
just
no, 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 that's not for me.
okay, but you're not the only one in the house.
I
We
know. I'm just saying
got
that's not for me for sure.
so I can come out. I will play. Like I said, I'm either doing 2 weeks or a month. So another way I could capitalize the same move. So if I'm thinking to come in and do, let's see what I want on SPY. Let me come back to the daily chart and say I want the top of the fair value at 490. Say if I can get that. Like I don't know what it's gonna open tomorrow. Okay, y'all. Let's just say it's already tomorrow. All right, and the chart look like this, and I want 490. Then I'm looking at the 490 strike is what I'll be looking at. Usually I like to come right where I'm thinking about taking that first target to get out. And that 490 strike has a 33,000 open interest and a 54,000 volume. It's $400 contract at a 34 delta, 36 delta, excuse me. And then of course the theta is high, but this is a day trade. So you're not expecting theta to really like actually take effect into the like next day because you're closing this on Monday. Like you're barely maybe with the bell, the candlestick has to be still doing a bullish pattern, you need to be in profit. I mean, bearish pattern, if price still need to be going down, you need to be in profit by 3:45 tomorrow to hold a 2-week contract one more day on a hope that you can exit in the morning. That is the riskiest shit ever. All right. Just saying. So, like, everything has to be perfectly in your favor to hold a 2-week contract overnight. I wouldn't do it unless everything's right. If price come down there and hit close enough to it, get you out, you take that profit, you trade again tomorrow. Cash account only for 2-week contracts under. Okay, like that's just works for me. That's how I was able to build my $300 account back up. Is I would go 2 weeks, I would get out, and I ain't holding shit for nothing. All right, no weekend, no overnight. All right. So that could be May 3rd would be great for that one. All right. Get your money, get in, get out. All right. So May 3rd, SPY, and May 17th. So my SPY contracts that I would recommend, depending on capital, you're going for let me see, you're going for May 3rd, May 17th, or June, what was that one? June 21st for SPY. Those 3 dates. The strikes you pick are up to you and your targets. All right. But the dates, though, I like those dates. All right. Let's see what else. Esther, you're saying, I think you're right. The 480 gives us a better risk reward with a lot lower costs. Yes. 480 strike. All right. 480 to 490 strike. All right. Are the strikes you probably will most likely want to play. 480 or the 490 to keep it out of the money. Of course, if you can afford now to still take that $500 strike, take it. Like, if you can afford it, take it. All right. Other than that, y'all got any other tickers? Last calls for today? Anything? All right, ladies. Y'all got this. I love y'all as always. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you lovely ladies on Tuesday. Trade safe. Ciao.